All right, welcome everybody to On the Shoulders of Giants. This Tuesday, we are going over the hotel footage of the incident with Michael Irvin, where he was accused of SA by a woman that worked at this particular hotel. So what we're looking at now is the actual footage of the interaction between Michael Irvin and the young lady. Now, I want to back it up a bit because now the second video we're going to look at will be Michael Irvin and this attorney breaking down this video and everything that went along with the situation. But I stopped the video for a minute because I want you to look at the bottom left hand of the screen. So, and these are things Michael Irvin's lawyer pointed out. Remember, this is another black man who has been accused. All right. So at the bottom left hand of the screen is what seems to be a manager, this guy right here, who's walking under the lights and into the open area with the white shirt with the vest. So he seems to be one of the managers because the interaction that he's going to have with the young lady who accused Michael Irvin is going to be very, very interesting. Now, Michael Irvin and his crew, where my mouse is, are here at the door. This is the entrance to this bar area. You see a couple people walking out and a group of men walking in. The group of men walking in, or the group of men still outside, is Michael Irvin and the men and the people that he are interacting with. And so bam, highlighted here, I just posted, highlighted here is the woman who accused Michael Irvin of SA. So this woman, pay attention to what's going on. That's why I paused it so we can all lock in on her. Just pay attention to her. This woman, just look at the way she goes about getting Michael Irvin's attention to have a conversation with him. And then we're going to analyze everything from there. Once again, another black man has been accused, and especially by a white woman. History is still repeating itself, so let's go. All right, you see she's highlighted up here. You see Michael Irvin and men he's talking to, they're coming now. Michael Irvin is highlighted. Now, let's back it up a bit. Let's back it up a bit. Pay attention to her. She knows that Michael Irvin is coming that way. She knows that. She's going towards him. She's going to try to make it look like she's really not, but she is. And watch how she peep around the corner as she goes toward Michael Irvin and cut to the bar area, because she goes up, she peeps around the corner, sees him, then makes a left into the bar area. Then she stops Michael Irvin. And then at first he goes into that area and then he comes back, but you'll see. Now look at how she peeps around the corner. Bam, she sees Michael Irvin. And then she takes that left. Look at Michael Irvin. And he stops right there because now he and the lady are interacting within the field of view of the camera. He's shaking her hand. They're talking. Conversation is going on. We don't know exactly what's being said, but you see, people are around. Men are around. Others are around. Now, hold on. Let me back it up a bit. Because remember, I told you about the guy who seemed to be a manager who's in the back of the picture, or the back of this camera view right here with the vest and the white shirt where my mouse is. So, but let's back it up a bit to where because we saw Michael Irvin and the lady. So let's back it up. So Michael Irvin and the lady, they are at the beginning of the interaction is here at the right hand of the screen. If you look at the left of the screen, under the chandelier, the guy with the vest and the white shirt seemed to be a manager. He's coming toward where the lady is now. Keep your eye on the left part of the screen on the manager guy. He's right here and he's stopping. He's waiting. He's clapping his hands. Back it up a bit. He clapped his hands. He's here. Well, hold up. Let's go back a little more. He's here and he starts to clap his hands because he's trying to get her attention. And he's standing there. He's just standing there and he's waiting. He looked like he's not approving of this interaction. So I'm pointing him out because he's a person who was there, who was witnessing a bit of the interaction. And if SA was happening, he would have witnessed it along with the other people who were walking by. So they're interacting. The guy's still standing there with his hands on his hips, looking perturbed, while these other two men walk by. They're looking, everybody's looking because it's Michael Irvin. The guy's just standing there with his hands on his hips. Michael Irvin is interacting with the lady. He moves more into her field of vision so she can make sure he sees her. He looks perturbed. They're talking. There's a distance between them. Close distance a bit, but there's distance between Michael Irvin and the lady while the guy is still in the back looking like he's not approving of the interaction. And he's finally looking like he's walking away. And they're continuing that conversation. Michael Irvin and the ladies continuing that conversation. All right. We don't know what they're talking about, but they're talking. And people are steady walking by. There's another guy on his phone walking by, another guy in the background on his phone here. So still distance between them two. He touches her elbow. All right. He touches her elbow again, laughing. All right. Still distance between them two. They're talking, still distance. Shakes her hand. She shakes her hand. Bam. Other people come up. So let's stop it right here. You got these two men right here. These two men right here and the perturbed looking manager. Let's come on now. These two men just walked up. If SA would have happened, why didn't she say something then or even go to the perturbed manager? Or all these people in here, it's Michael Irvin. You can cause a scene, whatever you need to do. But nothing is happening. So she walks away. They bid each other farewell, walk away, and he's talking to these two men, and bam, look who she's with. Manager guy, let's back it up. Let's back it up because manager guy is coming back down. So as the conversation is coming to an end, look at the left top, at the center of the screen. The manager is coming down. The two guys come out here. They're in the conversation. The manager guy comes down to catch her as she's walking, seemingly not happy with the conversation. Like, hey, you need to come talk to me. Michael Irvin is still up here talking to these two guys, and they're looking at her go away with the manager. Well, that's a perfect time to tell your manager what happened if SA has occurred. And so that's the thing. This is the actual footage of the interaction. Now, we don't know what was said, but what we do know is she had ample opportunity to say something at this point if Michael Irvin actually committed SA against her. There were men all around, including who seems to be her manager, who wasn't happy with the interaction she was having with Michael Irvin anyway. I don't know if there's anything else. So that's the end of everything that happened with the interaction between the lady and Michael Irvin. I don't know her name. But once again, welcome back to On the Shoulders of Giants, Joseph Ward. Make sure you check out my website, www.ontheshoulders1.com. Thank you all for all the continued support, all the views, all the likes, all the shares, all the comments. I know I haven't been getting to the comments as of lately. It's been a week. It's been a couple of weeks. It's been busy, but I'm gonna make sure I get to the comments and respond to everything. But I appreciate you all. I appreciate you all, and you all. We're building something. We're builders. We're nation builders. We're builders of tomorrow. So I decided that the audience, my audience, I'm going to name my audience the Builders of Tomorrow. Builders of Tomorrow. BOT. We're Builders of Tomorrow. That's you guys. Builders of Tomorrow. So let's get more builders in here. Let's continue to grow this nation because we are a nation of nation builders. So the Builders of Tomorrow. So let's do our thing. But we're here talking about the assassination of the black male character, or the assassination of the black male image. And when I saw this video, it took me back to, oh yeah, make sure y'all hit that like bell. That like button, hit that like button, subscribe, and hit that notification bell. Like this video, make sure you subscribe. But seeing this video and the other video that I'm going to show you of Michael Irvin and his lawyer talking. It took me back to when I was in college and I read this book, The Assassination of the Black Male Image. Now, it's been a minute since I read this book, so I have to go back and read it again because I actually just found it. I moved, so it took a while to find it. I got a lot of books, so I actually just found the book, so I didn't have a chance to crack it open and read it like I wanted to, but it took me back to when I read this book, The Assassination of the Black Male Image. And historically, Black men have been the target of white supremacy. Why? Because the Black male is the greatest defense to white supremacy. And if you can eliminate the Black male, then the women and children are vulnerable, right? So the Black man has always been the target of negativity, especially in the white media. Going back to the movie Birth of a Nation by D.W. Griffith in, I believe, 1913. So in that movie, Birth of a Nation, Black men were depicted as perpetrators of SA, right? Oversexed, no self-control, childlike, dumb, just animalistic, and just going off of urges and whatever impulse and whatever urge they have. This is what the Black man does, and the Black man is destructive, and the Black man is everything that is negative, right? So if you embed that image, not just into white people, but non-white people, but especially if you embed that image and that ideology and that narrative into Black women and Black children and get them to reject their own man and their own father, you have division within a group of people who you fear the greatest. Now, if we go on by Dr. Wilson's theory, they fear genetic annihilation. So the people that you fear the greatest, if you can convince them that they don't need each other, also if you can convince them to fear each other, you can convince them that especially their man, the greatest protector that they have, if you can convince them that their man is useless, shiftless, and he's no good, he won't be there, he won't raise the children, and not only create those narratives, but if you can convince the Black man to adopt those behaviors, then yes, you have successfully completed the dismantling of not only the Black family, but a Black nation, because you cannot have a nation without a family. So it's important for the Black man to be demonized. It's important for the image of the Black male to be stepped upon. It's important for the image of the Black male to be degraded. It's important for the Black male to look like he doesn't care about himself. Matter of fact, it's even more important for the Black male to adopt those characteristics and adopt those behaviors. It's one thing to have a stereotype, but it's another thing to adopt the behaviors of the stereotype, to actually do the things that the stereotype says. And in some part, not all Black men, but too many Black men have adopted those behaviors. They've assimilated into the negativity. Because think about it. To be considered a Black man nowadays is to take on all of the negative characteristics that a man can have, a man, period, no matter his race, but take on all the negative characteristics of what a man is and all the negative characteristics that a man has. Those are the things that are celebrated and held up as authentic Black maleness. If you are not a thug, if you're not from the hood, if you don't perpetuate the violence, then you're not considered real. You're not even considered a real man. You're not looked up to if you're not rich. Think about that. As a Black man in your own community, we're not looked up to if you're not rich. If you don't, matter of fact, you can be rich and not even look like you're rich, and you won't get looked up to because it's the image of the Black man that we brought into. That's an unhealthy image. An unhealthy image. Like I was having a conversation with a young lady that I was working with yesterday, and it plays right into this. She was showing me an Instagram of a white guy that she follows. And at first, I couldn't tell that the guy was white because he portrays himself as a black man, but she ensured me that that's a white man with a white mother and a white father. So I'm like, okay. And she showed me he made a child, and that child is white. All right. But he looks black. He has gold teeth, tattoos. He want to be a rapper, flashes guns, flashes money. He has an afro. The afro isn't a negative thing with a white guy with an afro. But you know, the cars, everything that looks like a dope boy, everything that looks like a gangster, thug, a rapper, all those things that's negative. That's what he portrayed. And I was having a conversation with her because she's like 20 years old. And I was like, you see this? He thinks being black is perpetuating all of the negative qualities that a man can have, because the image of the black man has been destroyed, and it's on us to rebuild our image. That's why we have to reject all negativity. We have to protect ourselves, protect our image, that we and then make sure that we are portraying the image to the world that we want the world to see, because we've taken control of our image. That's the part of nation building, is to take control of our own image and take control of our own narratives. But as black men, we have to embody what it is to be a good black man, a great black man, a builder of tomorrow. We have to embody what it is to be a builder of tomorrow. We have to embody that. And if we're not embodying that, then we are helping to perpetuate the system of white supremacy. We have to understand that. And remember, everything connects. Everything connects. And this goes back to what is happening to Michael Irvin. Now, Michael Irvin is the latest black man to be accused of SA by a white woman, which historically, it happens too often. It happens too often. But one of the great things about this is, for one, we have the evidence. Two, nobody really believes the lady because of the evidence that's presented and because of the witnesses. And three, Michael Irvin is fighting back, and he's suing the hotel that the lady works for, because the hotel just believed the lady's story with no evidence and proceeded to kick him out of the hotel based off of an allegation that a lady made hours after the interaction with Michael Irvin, when if SA would have happened then, she had at least 3 or 4 men she could have said something to, including Hupasine, who looks like her manager. If we want this to stop, we got to fight back, but we have to protect our own image, and we have to make sure that we're doing what we need to do as black men to embody the best qualities of manhood that we can, and not manhood equal to white men or any other men, but manhood equal to our own blackness and standards that we define for ourselves. But Michael Irvin and his lawyer is fighting back, and I'm glad they're fighting back. The black man needs to fight back, but the black man, Michael Irvin didn't do anything wrong in this situation, but we do overall as black men, we do need to be better. We need to walk better, talk better, live better, everything better. We need to make sure that we are being the greatest versions of ourselves so we can rebuild our community and be true builders of tomorrow. So, but let's get into the second video with Michael Irvin and his lawyer. And they're fighting back, fighting all the way back. Let's get it.
Good, everybody?
All right.
Well, thank you guys for coming. Michael has obviously not come out publicly about this till now. I think this is a story that deserves telling, and I want to present it kind of in 3 parts to y'all. First, going to be the background of what happened. Second is going to be about the video that you've all heard so much about. And then the third part is going to be our attempts to deal with Marriott about this incident and how do we correct it.
It's the Marriott Hotel.
Michael traveled to Phoenix on February 5th to cover the Super Bowl and related activities. He was staying at the Renaissance Phoenix downtown hotel, supposed to stay there from February 5th to February 13th. On February 5th, after performing his media duties, he returned to the hotel and was having water in the lobby bar. He obviously drew a lot of attention, and he began to tell the people assembled in the lobby stories, NFL stories, old stories. Several people offered to buy him a drink. He declined, saying he had work the next day.
Imagine confidently and fluently presenting
Commercials.
your
Wow.
ideas in perfect English.
All right, let's go.
Two of the gentlemen who offered to buy him a drink are the witnesses that we have here for you to
And they got
see
their
on
witnesses.
Zoom. Phil Watkins and Bryn Davis. Phil's Australian. He's 10 or 11 hours ahead or behind, so it's a big effort for him to be here. And Bryn Davis is a Philly fan who's from Philadelphia, but he's in Europe right now. But they both agreed to come and talk to you guys about what happened. I think it's really important to understand where these witnesses come from. This is not someone that we found through an investigator. These witnesses called in to a show hosted by a guy named Tony Bruno. And Tony Bruno called us and gave us their names.
That's significant. So I'm guessing those two guys are the two men who were near Michael Irvin after the interaction. And it's significant that these men heard about this and then decided to reach out to the radio station to give their piece to say what they saw in regards to the interaction between Michael Irvin and the lady. They reached out to the radio station to say, hey, that's not what I saw. But let's keep going.
When we first talked to these gentlemen, they said, I've just read about in the paper what happened last night. I was sick to my stomach. I have a wife and kids, and I sick with what happened to Michael. You'll see on the video these gentlemen. But these guys and some other eyewitnesses and other people that have come forward asked Michael to take a picture with them. He said, I'm not going to take a picture in a bar. It's a bad look. But I'll go out by the front door of the lobby and take pictures with you. This is where the video starts that I have seen. And so that I can lay the scene out for you. The video it appears to be from behind the front desk of the hotel. It's certainly a desk. It might be the concierge desk. Facing out this way, where on this side is the entrance to the hotel, main entrance and lobby.
And he's going over the video that we just watched.
And on this side is the lobby bar. There's nothing separating them wall-wise to the lobby bar. It's just the hardwood floor versus a carpet on this side. And then there's a big pole kind of right in the middle. When you first see the video, Michael is outside taking pictures, as these guys will describe to you. And the accuser here is behind the front desk of the hotel. The accuser then, as she sees Michael coming back, walks out from behind the front desk. And it appears to me to be approaching Michael and his group. Michael's group's coming in this way. Michael doesn't clearly, and no one in the group notices her yet. Unfortunately, the exact moment that they meet is behind the pole. So you can't exactly tell who talked to who, but I believe the witnesses will clean that up for us. They both meet and then they walk to where they're in the middle of the lobby. And remember, this is a public lobby with tons of people going back and forth. When they first greet each other, they shake hands and Michael starts to talk to her. Michael, in this interaction, touches her a sum total of 4 times. He shakes her hand at the beginning, shakes her hand at the end.
Touches her elbow twice.
Touches her on the elbow, as many of you who have interviewed Michael knows he does when he talks, for a very brief moment. And one other time, he buckles over laughing, and he kind of brushes her with his hand against her other elbow.
So we saw that, and I pointed all of that out. Like I said, the first handshake, touches her elbow once in conversation. He laughs, leans forward, touches her elbow, and then the last handshake. We saw that. So we saw that for ourselves.
That is it. She clearly never acts upset.
Right.
She doesn't back away from Michael.
Right.
She doesn't act like there's any kind of problems going on there at all. The conversation lasted about 1.5 minutes. As I said, they shook hands and then walk away. I want to talk about our attempts to figure out what happened and right the situation and what went from there, okay? Michael gets woken up basically in the middle of the night and told he needs to leave the hotel. He at that point in time doesn't know who's making allegations, what happened, why, anything.
This is
He
crazy.
did not know anything about who this person was or exactly what the allegations were until literally yesterday. And we had tried repeatedly to find out.
Here's how to take your medical practice from hopeless.
Come on,
to the
commercials.
next patient. Hi, I'm Flo Jackson. I've been helping.
When it happened, Steve Mandel asked to meet with the folks at the Renaissance Hotel out in Phoenix. They granted him a meeting. He believed that the meeting was going to be with the head of security, the general manager, and someone else at the hotel. When he showed up for the meeting, the head of security had been excluded, said he was not going to be in the meeting, and he met with the two other individuals, the GM and the head of marketing. I have their names, but I don't think that's relevant now. They absolutely refused to give him any information about what the allegations were against Mr. Irvin. Steve offered to allow Michael to be interviewed by their security. He offered the names of these witnesses that had now come forward via the radio station to be interviewed by security.
And what happened?
Renaissance declined, would not talk to Michael, would not talk to the witnesses, said, we don't comment on anything. In fact, wouldn't even give Steve the name of one of the people that he was meeting with.
I wonder why.
Throughout the week in Phoenix, repeated attempts were made to get the Renaissance to interview these folks to clear Michael's name. Again, as you already know from the papers and the media, he had been taken off of NFL Network. He'd been taken off a show on ESPN. And obviously, he's very, very eager to clear his name and clear up these allegations.
And that's another thing, too. I don't like that these organizations, networks, and all these companies do this, especially when a man is accused, especially a black man. The black man basically is reprimanded immediately. So NFL Network and everything else that Michael Irvin was on, they went ahead and just took him off because he was accused by a woman. And that's because they are afraid of the feminist backlash that they might get or they could get for continuing to have a man on the networks that has been only accused with no evidence. And in this case, she has no evidence to prove that Michael Irvin perpetuated SA against her. But he was kicked out of the hotel and basically suspended from his jobs because of this allegation. When a man, especially a black man, is accused, whether the accusations are true or false, it greatly affects his life negatively. Even we have plenty of cases where a black man is found not guilty, but it's too late. The damage is already done. The path that he was on, he's no longer on that path. And it's going to be hard as hell for him to get back on that path. I've seen it so many times, especially in the athletic realm with athletes. I've seen it so many times. Black athletes, you know, and whatever interaction that they have with especially white women, the white woman gives a false allegation. They find out eventually that the allegations were false, but it's too late because the damage is done. The person's life is ruined. Now, if the allegations are true, hey man, give him his punishment. He deserved it if the allegations are true. But in this situation, the allegations has not been proven to be true. There's no evidence anywhere that points to any of these allegations being true. All of the evidence that has been presented shows that Michael Irvin did not do anything wrong. But yet he has been reprimanded by his employers because of the allegations, because they fear backlash from feminists and other groups of the women groups and stuff. Nobody cares that she might have not told the truth. The idea of believe all women, especially when it comes to black men, especially when it comes to black men, believe all women. Why? Why? It's supposed to be innocent until proven guilty. But for a black man, especially a black man in the public, black people, period, because I'm not going to leave out black women, but this is specifically about black men, because black people, period, you're going to be guilty before proven innocent. But for a black man, for our specific focus for this video, a black man is guilty before proven innocent. Let's keep moving.
Well, how do you do that when you don't even know what you're being accused of? And how do you do that when the people that are making the allegations won't tell you what they are? So obviously we didn't have the video and we didn't have any meetings with the witnesses, so I had to file the lawsuit. We filed the $100 million lawsuit in state court in Collin County, because that's where Mr. Urban lives. That's where we felt like the majority of the damage was being done in this case. As you've seen, the state court judge immediately ordered production of the video that we believe would clear Michael's name. A few hours before the deadline to produce the video, Renaissance did a legal maneuver where they removed the case, Marriott, removed the case to federal court. In federal court, I think they believed everything would slow down, but we filed an almost identical motion for expedited discovery in federal court that the federal judge granted as well. And as many of you have reported and seen, the deadline to give us the information was yesterday. When I appeared yesterday to get the video, to see the video, I was
Listen
not
to
allowed
this.
to make
Listen
a
to
copy.
this.
I was not allowed to take a copy. I was not allowed to use my cell phone to make a copy. We believe these things were in violation of the court's order.
So my thing is, if you all strongly believe what this lady says, why are you refusing to show the evidence that could prove what she says to be true? Why withhold the evidence? Maybe because it doesn't match up with her story. But you all are cool with this man's image being tarnished in the media, even though y'all don't want to give up the information to either prove or disprove what's going on. Why are you holding on to it, Marriott? Oh, well, guess what? Now you got to get this lawsuit.
In fact, before I went back to view the video, I was asked to empty all my pockets and search me so that I couldn't have any recording devices.
It's crazy.
I absolutely declined and said, I'm not going to do that, but I'm not going to record anything without your permission either. All during the viewing of the video, I was required to sit in a room with the other counsel, opposing counsel, watching me, seeing what I was doing. So I was not free to talk about what was on the video. And certainly I don't have a copy that I could even talk to my client about it. Now, what is so damning about a video that was taken in a public lobby that they're now using to try to destroy this man's livelihood and reputation, that they won't just release it? We shouldn't even have to be in court with this. Marriott, I believe, should come forward. And in fact, I made a statement to the Marriott counsel that I think is pretty telling. I said, would you rather like the press to hear my description of what the video shows, or would you rather just show them the video? Well, clearly, you know his answer by the fact that I'm here describing it to you. We have filed an emergency plaintiff's motion to enforce court order to try to get the video. It was filed this morning. You can certainly go on the docket and get a copy of it if you want. We're hopeful we'll get the video to share it, but we think we're farther enough along in the case now to say this case is nonsense. Not our case, but the allegations are nonsense. And we need to immediately get Michael back to work. And I believe that Renaissance needs to apologize to him.
So clearly something happened for the video to be released and the video to be made public, and we're able to see it. So clearly something was granted because the video is now public of what happened between the interaction between Michael Irvin and the young lady. But to go to those lengths to get the video, the evidence that you all are saying that should prove what she says to be true, it doesn't make sense. The stuff don't line up. So that's why I look like Marriott and that lady over there looking shady, real shady. Could it have been a setup? Could it be something that Marriott was looking to come up on and she was the bait? Maybe. They could have been like, well, we're gonna catch Michael Irvin slipping. He good for it. He got a lot of money. That could have happened. But the question is, why would this woman accuse Michael Irvin of SA? Why? What is it about Michael Irvin? Is it, him being a black man or whatever? But what we do know is a black man has been falsely accused, and it's another entry into the journal of white women falsely accusing black men of SA. Because right now we have to go with that because there's no evidence to prove that Michael Irvin did anything. Once again, all of the evidence points to Michael Irvin being innocent. But the bigger picture, the larger thing that's happening, because remember, everything is connected. We can't look at things as individual instances. Everything is connected. It's another entry into the journal of white women falsely accusing black men. There's also another entry into the journal of the assassination of the black male image. If the black man is destroyed, if the black man is taken out of the picture, the black women and the black children are vulnerable. What's the bigger picture behind this? What's the bigger picture behind black men being accused for centuries by white women? What's the bigger picture behind that? In my opinion, the elimination of the black men to help weaken black people, to help weaken the defenses of the black woman and the black child. In their minds, they don't need upstanding black men because upstanding black men are a threat to white supremacy. Remember that. Upstanding black men who are builders of tomorrow, black people, period, but specifically for this video, black men who are builders of tomorrow are a threat to white supremacy. So what do we need to be? All of us black men, specifically though for this video, but all of us black people, what do we need to be? And so that's why I named my audience the builders of tomorrow, because it's on us for what we're doing today to determine the quality of our tomorrow. All right. But the overall thing should always be asking is, how does this tie into the greater picture or the greater movement or just white supremacy as a whole? How does all this tie into white supremacy as a whole? Don't look at it as an isolated incident. It's a whole web of incidents. It's a whole web of things that's going on. And this is just another piece to it. It's another piece of the puzzle. There's a black liberation puzzle and there's a white supremacy puzzle. Understand both puzzles, understand pieces of both puzzles. Because nation building, liberation, us doing what we need to do, being self-sufficient is our overall goal. How does acts like this, how do things like this help negate us from building our own? That's how we should be thinking. So that's how we're gonna look at this. So let's keep going.
With that, I think Mr. Irvin has a statement he'd like to make.
I want to start by saying I appreciate all the support that I've gotten from everybody, from people and from friends. And I'm not talking about just in this moment. I'm talking about over the years. People that have followed me my whole career, the peaks, and certainly through the valleys. But this sickens me. This sickens me. Because in this great country, this takes me back to a time where a white man would accuse a white woman would accuse a black man of something. And they would take a bunch of guys that were above the law, run in the barn, put a rope around his foot and drag him through the mud and hang him by the tree. Not a thought about what would happen, not an investigation, not after repeated attempts of people trying to go and say, guys, here's what really happened.
Now, a lot of people will say, well, why is he tying it into race? Because you have to look at the bigger picture. Everything isn't about race. It might not be for you because you might not see the bigger picture.
What really happened. Here are witnesses that'll say this. Here's witnesses that'll say that. And so we don't want to hear. We do not want to hear. How can I defend myself if I don't even know what I'm defending myself against? They asked me, they said, do you remember this girl you met in the lobby? I work and I live in hotels. I stay in hotels all year long from August to September. I meet people every day walking in and out of a lobby. I couldn't even tell you what she looked like. I don't know. I don't even know who I'm talking about. When I'm talking about, I'm supposed to do something. And this just blows my mind that in 2023, we still dragging and hanging brothers by a tree. That blows my mind that I have no opportunity to defend. I don't even know what I'm defending. And absolutely to not listen to the court. Marriott is above the law because I still haven't seen this tape. I haven't seen this tape. I want to see what I'm being accused of, why I've had put my whole life on hold, why my family had to endure it. If I did something wrong, I'll suffer the consequences of me doing something wrong. But if you did something wrong, you meaning them, then they should suffer the consequences of what they did wrong. It's just sickening.
Thank you, Michael. We're now going to allow these gentlemen here, and I guess
Before you get to the witnesses, it's the metaphorical lynching that Michael Irvin is talking about. He's getting at the bigger picture. Whether he understands it or not, he's getting at the bigger picture. The metaphorical lynching of black men, even though black men, to some small degree, are still actually lynched to this day. There was a black man not too long ago who was actually decapitated. They found him decapitated. So the metaphorical lynching of the black man is still the removal of the black man, the assassination of the character of the black man, still getting the black man out the way, the weakening of the black man. If the black man is weak, if the black man is vulnerable, if the black man is not capable of protecting his woman and his child like he's supposed to, the woman and the child are vulnerable for things like feminism. Yeah. Dr. Welsing and Shahrazad Ali told black women about feminism, but they ain't listening. So. Yeah.
first we've got Phil. Can you hear me?
Yeah, good morning.
Phil, if you would, Phil, if you would, tell the reporters here what you saw that night at the Marriott Hotel.
Yeah, certainly. G'day, guys. So myself and my business colleagues, we were out in the front lobby, obviously with Michael. This is the first night I've ever met Michael in my life. He was a very jovial character. He, basically was a great proponent of the sport. He loves the NFL clearly. So he gave me a great introduction to the NFL. It's the first time I've ever heard about it. And essentially, obviously, we had some fan-like pictures and then re-entered the lobby. I was checking my phone when a young lady approached Michael, and there was nothing really untoward out of the interaction because essentially I was checking the pictures. And basically, I heard some laughter. I looked up. There was a few handshakes. There was some more laughter, and they went their separate ways. Michael went back to the lift and obviously continued on his night. I take it he went back to his bedroom, and the lady returned to roughly around the bar area where we actually, three of us who had just had the picture taken, returned to the table. So, yeah, there was no, like I said, it was a very jovial conversation. There was no reason to look at it as anything untoward. And yeah, the lady returned to work, so
Phil,
we carried on our night.
Phil, are you an NFL fan?
No, I'm not actually. Believe it or not, I apologize to the guys here in Dallas, but the Super Bowl that weekend was the first game I've ever watched.
Okay.
So yeah.
Okay, so
I didn't know who Michael was before this event.
and I'll just ask you one more question. Did you see anything at all that would cause you concern or you thought was inappropriate in Mr. Irvin's behavior towards this woman?
No, not at all.
And you're aware that you're actually on the video that I've seen, and so we know that you were there, correct?
Yeah, that's correct, yes.
Okay. I'm going to go to Bryn real quick. I don't even know how to swap that.
How would you like to collect 5-figure checks by helping foreclosure victims recover monies?
Brandon, if you start talking, I think we'll be there.
Can you guys hear me?
There you go. Brandon,
Good morning, everybody.
if you tell your experience and then tell about the terrible, horrible football team you root for, I'd appreciate it.
No, yeah. So like Phil had said, we had a business meeting around, I don't know, a little after 10 at the Renaissance, and I am from Philadelphia, so we recognized Michael. The other gentleman I was with, we noticed Michael on the other side of the bar, which was pretty cool. I mean, you know, I've known who he was since we were little. I'm an Eagles fan, so I grew up hating him, but it was still exciting to see him. And so, you know, we offered to buy him a drink because we thought it'd be cool to buy Michael Irvin a drink. And he came over and said, you know, sorry. He said, I have ESPN tomorrow morning at 8 a.m. I can't take a drink, but I really appreciate it. And then we started going back and forth about Jalen Hurts being a fantasy or being a dynasty, blah, blah, blah. I had a really cool, quick conversation. He saw that I had my phone in my hand and asked if I wanted to get a picture, which was nice because obviously that's what I wanted to do. We stepped outside, took a few pictures, and came back in. And when we entered back in, a woman had come around the corner, kind of met Michael at the corner. They had a very brief interaction that was, you know, super, you know, friendly, lots of laughter. And Michael went back to his room. I went back to my seat, and 2 days later, I read about the story that we're talking about now.
At any point in time, did you see anything that caused you concern, you thought was inappropriate? Mr. Irvin should have done that, just untoward. Did you see anything like that? Well, it's frozen Zoom. He is in Europe. Guys, if he comes back, I'll do it. Other than that, I think that concludes our press conference. These gentlemen have offered to take questions if you want to. We're not going to take questions based on the fact that we still have this current lawsuit going on. So I appreciate everybody showing up.
Wait, let me say this.
Okay.
You know, I kind of lost it just listening to Bill talk. Because I'm struggling. This is what I struggle with. You know, you try to be an ambassador of the league and also understand that God has blessed me and given me a platform and try to touch people, try to raise people, try to lift people up. And I don't know, I met a lot of fans, but I've always tried to be good with people. You know, I'm struggling now saying, do I not talk to people? What do I do? You know, because of this kind of a situation, I know I didn't do anything wrong. And I was trying to do everything right. So it's just, you know, though I say that, I got to come back to this moment. Had I not said to these guys, you know what, you cool guys, let's go outside and take that picture, you know, then they wouldn't have been right there with me. And that would have been a moment that I've had alone. And I know nobody's going to listen to what I say. Nobody, still, at least Mary, I don't want to hear what we have to say. Don't want to hear what I have to say. Don't even care to share it. So, you know, I just got emotional thinking about it because I'm struggling with that on what to do moving forward after I deal with all of this. That's all I want to say.
That's crazy. That's crazy. But as black men in America, and as black people in America, but in black men in America, as black men, this is what we go through. This is what we deal with here in America, dealing with system of white supremacy. They're going to come after us, and they're going to continuously come after us, whether it's overt or covert. Whether you believe it's happening or not, a war against black people has been happening since white folks showed up in Africa with bad intentions. And that war is still going on, especially after they've built what they need to build. They built what they need to build, and the fear of genetic annihilation, right? So we will continue to be the target. So the question for my men builders, the men of the builders of tomorrow, how are we going to build a safer tomorrow for ourselves and our sons? That's what we need to be thinking about. That's what we need to be discussing. Not just building, because if you build it, you must protect it. So how do we build a safer tomorrow for our sons, which in turn will build a safer tomorrow for our women and our children? How do we do that? Because it needs to happen. whether we want to or not, people who perpetuate the system of white supremacy will continue to attack us in various ways, and the system of white supremacy will continue to transform and adapt to the times. It's not going anywhere. It's being taught from generation to generation to generation to generation. Whether you believe it or not, it's happening because it's still here. And it's adapting to the times that it's in. We have to adapt. The adaptation has to be so we can continue to build. So first of all, let me say that again. The adaptation has to happen so we can actually start to build, so we can build and then protect what we're building, protect what we've built. Because they would not stop their assaults. They would not stop coming after us. So we have to protect ourselves. We have to protect our image. Now, on our end, one thing that we can do as far as protecting our image is be better men. Be the greatest version of yourself. Even me, I have to improve my appearance, improving our appearance, improving the way we think, improving how we feel about ourselves and our people, especially how we feel about each other, improving the way we walk, improving the way we talk, improving the quality of the relationships that we have, improving the quality of the families that we have, improving the quality of the women that we mess with, so we can in turn create children and create an environment for our children to grow in, to thrive, to become nation builders. We need to become true nation builders and not just talk about it. Aren't we tired of talking? Aren't we tired of talking? Because while we're talking, stuff like what's happening to Michael Irvin is continuing to happen. And the only reason we know about this with Michael Irvin is because he is who he is. But stuff like this happens all the time to black men that don't nobody know about. And that's the reality of this. So we out here by ourselves. And we've been out here by ourselves for a long time. Nobody's going to save us but us. So what are we going to do? What is we going to do to make sure that we are building and protecting what we build? We have to get to that point. We have to build. We have to have paradigm shifts first so we can get to building. Hey, man, but that's it. You know, Patreon exclusive. I forgot to say that at the beginning because I got into this, but this is Patreon exclusive. If you want to see these live videos, become a patron. You can become a patron for as little as $1. Just become a patron. You get these live videos on Tuesday whenever I go live on Patreon. And you don't have to wait till Thursday to just get a clip. You can get the full thing. So this is how we do it. Patreon.com/OTSOG. Make sure you like this video, subscribe, hit that notification bell, get in them comments, tell me what you think. And man, let's do what we do. Let's do what we do. Builders of tomorrow. The builders of tomorrow. I love you all. And make sure y'all catch the next video coming up. Peace out.